and that is a parachute. I fully intend on the truck being fast enough to require one, so before anybody calls me out on that shit, it's not going to be for show, and if the truck doesn't get there, it's going to be removable. Welcome back, everybody. Video number 12, and it's going to be a fun one. This is not really going to have anything to do with the truck running, but this is something that I've always wanted to do on my truck, and that is a parachute. I fully intend on the truck being fast enough to require one, so before anybody calls me out on that shit, it's not going to be for show, and if the truck doesn't get there, it's going to be removable, so it will not be there until I need it. However, it's still going on. We're still building it. This is an RJS parachute for like a 4,500 pound vehicle or something. It's literally the biggest one I could find because obviously this thing weighs 10 tons. I also got the rest of the material for the headers, which is not going to be part of this video. We're going to focus strictly on the parachute. I bought this parachute bracket kit like literally, I think, a couple weeks after the motor blew up last time. So I've had this for literally months. And by months, I mean 4 years. So the plan here is I've drawn some brackets that are going to tie into these two holes here. There's going to be a piece of DOM tube come across. It's going to come through here. There's going to be some type of removable situation, whether it's bolted in or whatever. It's going to miss my battery shut off. I'll show you what I've got drawn up. Look at that thing. Woo! So yeah. This is my tentative parachute bracket. This is the driver's side, so it's the opposite side of what I was showing you, but that's where those two holes are going to catch. That'll be where the DOM tube catches, and then hopefully I plan to do a little gusset kind of along this top edge here. I might turn this into a production part. I don't know. I might not. I probably won't. Anyway, ignore these tubes. I just was farting around on the computer last night, and these are not actually any measurements. The only measurement that means anything is this bracket on both sides. So obviously that side's a mirror image. I'm just waiting for those brackets now, and we will start making that mount. So see you in a day or two.
Day 2.
Okay guys, it's Saturday morning about 10 o'clock and UPS was just here, and I was not expecting to have these so fast. I just sent Chris the drawing on Thursday, and it's Saturday morning. I've got them already, so shout out to him. These are the parachute brackets that I was drawing, parachute mount brackets I was drawing. I had a handful made, just because if I can get this sorted out, I will make 5 of these to sell, I guess. But I went ahead and put the remaining set that I had, I guess, on the truck. So you can see this tube is just literally jammed in there, so ignore that. But that's how they fit. Ignore that 1/2-inch bolt. That will be a factory bolt when I find them. I know I have trailer hitch bolts still at home. This thing hasn't had a trailer hitch on it in years, so I got to dig them up. But these brackets are going to work perfectly. My battery shut off is going to clear, no problem, and that will be able to get us to a position where we can get the parachute centered on the license plate area. So I'm going to pull these brackets off. I'm going to get this piece of tube tacked into place, and then we'll start building the actual slip-in piece for the parachute mount itself. One thing I should also mention is this tube is going to wind up having a jack point on it. This truck, I don't know if you can tell by the scrapes on the bumper, is very low, and getting a jack to the pumpkin to get wheels swapped over at the racetrack or whatever is a nightmare. So I'm going out of my way. We usually lift these trucks up when they're semi-lowered, like my other one, off the trailer hitch. So I figure I'm going to emulate that by putting a jack point on the parachute mount as well. It's pretty thick DOM tube. I know that it's, most people build them out of chromoly or whatever, but we're going to make this multi-purpose, so I'm going to make it a little heavier duty. The parachute mount itself could be chromoly, which I think actually the piece that I have is that piece I showed you already that's pre-bent. I'm pretty sure this is already chromoly, so we're going to save some weight there, but in a 6,000 pound truck with a full interior, I'm not overly concerned with weight. So yeah, I'm going to square this up and get welding. All right, that worked out really good. Here it is. So you can see it's clearing my battery shut off quite nicely. And it fits these holes just really good. So I'm gonna put for sure a little gusset in here somewhere, but that's a future endeavor. So I'm gonna pull this license plate off. It's not a real license plate, it's just one of my little Izzy-Fab ones that we have on most of the cars. And I'll pull it off, and then we will build our center tube. I'm gonna kick it up slightly and then straight out, so that hopefully it winds up in the center of the license plate area. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta see what I have for tube that we can have another tube slide into it. So, all right, let's go do that. I went hunting in the tube pile and I came up with some good stuff. This is 1.5" DOM. This is 1.25". 1.5" DOM 120 wall. That gives me about a 10 thou clearance with quarter wall, or 1.25" DOM, I mean. So what I'm gonna do is, this is going to be, I'm gonna bend this. It's gonna basically copy this picture. There being a bend here. It's gonna come straight out like this. This is going to be my removable parachute, the actual mount itself. The clevis will go down on the end. That'll hold on to the parachute when it's released. And then I'm gonna do that and that, and that will hold the actual bag while we're driving around. So that's my plan anyway. Let's see if we can pull it off. I'm gonna bend this first and get it coped and centered in the license plate hole. Ultimately, we're gonna have obviously a pinch bolt that goes through everything, for like a 7/16 bolt or something that will hold everything together. And then that will be on the back side of the license plate. So if I want to take the parachute out, I can just undo that bolt, slide the assembly off. It'll take the bag, stand, and all that with it. And then I'll be able to bolt a non-drilled license plate on, and you won't know any different. So again, that's my plan. Let's see if we can pull it off. There we go. Nice clean cope. So this is gonna go in here, something like that. And obviously I'm gonna have to square it up so that it's flat. I'm gonna use that cross member as my gauge because this thing's sitting on a hoist and you can't trust how square a hoist is. So I'm gonna use that face to square this up and center it obviously in the hole and on the tube. And then yeah, we're gonna trim that tube back somewhere just shy of that plastic. This one's warped because the exhaust used to kind of stop too short. Exhaust I built a few years ago, and I also drilled this hole in the plastic, I don't know, many years ago with the intent that the parachute was going to go through there. So I have a new plastic. This truck got rear-ended 10 years ago, and the only thing that got damaged was the tailgate. So this is not the original tailgate, and I got a new bumper plastic. That dent is from me. Like I said previously, trying to get under that thing, the jack handle, you can barely pump the jack. So I have a different bumper for it. We're gonna get it repainted, replace that bumper. I'm gonna finally put the step pad on it. And so yeah, this warped piece, it's behind the license plate anyway, but it will be straight again. So yeah, I'm gonna cut this behind there. We'll get a hole drilled in it for the quick release, parachute release, whatever you want to call it. And then we should be able to put the tether mount on and start planning the bag mount. So it's going quite well. I'm quite happy with this so far. So I got carried away. I got some dinner plans tonight, so I'm on kind of a time crunch. So I just really wanted to get this done and get it on the truck before I had to leave today. But yeah, this is a very motivating piece for me. It's always been a big goal of mine to have a parachute on the truck. I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. This bolts in perfectly. It clears everything it needs to clear. That all winds up perfectly. The only thing I think I might do in the not too distant future is, given the overall picture of it, I might shorten this tube just a little bit, just to bring the assembly closer to the back of the truck. It looks really good right now, but again, when it's outside, it might leave some room for me being able to scooch that in a little closer to the truck, an inch or two. So I'm gonna put it on the truck now, and that's gonna be the end of this video, which is going to be awesome because this went quite well, and I really was not expecting to have these brackets today. I was gonna start working on the headers again, but this makes me feel really good. So I'm gonna slam this on the truck, and then we will reconvene. Okay guys, that's gonna end off this video. Went ahead and moved the truck over to the big bay. Now we can leave the parachute mounted, and this is the more dedicated to fabrication side of the shop anyway. So this truck just fits way better on this hoist. We got a lot more smaller stuff happening on the other side now, so it seemed like the right time to move it over. But anyway, we are going to finish that header next round. Pretty excited about where we're at. So we will see you in a week.